I'm thinking about some things just as I go. That's just occurred to me, and I think that they are completely essential in life. But I've never thought about them before. But it's interesting how important they are in our lives. So I'm thinking of the toilet flush first, and just thinking of how useful it is and how essential, and how I never think about it. But I was imagining if the toilet flush broke or whatever, and the problem I'd have in the day of going through the day with a few people using the toilet or whatever, it's just basically vital that the toilet flush works. And I have no idea how much these things cost to install and maintain, but I know how important it is. So pretty much whatever it costs, I wouldn't have too much of a problem. And I'm thinking of something else now. I'm thinking of the toilet flush, for example. So the kettle boiling. So if you want to make a cup of tea, whatever, you put the kettle on and you don't think about it. But when I do think about it, the toilet flush and the kettle boiling are actually fairly complex processes and needs to have very reliable processes. Um, and a few things need to work very well. Right? With the kettle, we need the electricity to work perfectly. With the toilet flush, the water has to be there, and the chemical process of using the flush has to operate efficiently. So I'm thinking that the design, installation, and maintenance of these things is very important and must be expensive. And as I said, I've never thought about it before, but the work behind these things is pretty impressive, such that I never noticed that they're there. I never think about these things. I think there's some other things as well that occur to me. Maybe the zip. Zips function perfectly. I've never had problems with zips. Well, I've had problems with the other problem, but it's so rare. I never think about it. Just use it, and it works perfectly. And what else is there? Central heating is another thing that works perfectly all the time, pretty much. Um, I never think about the heat or whatever into the house, and it's always functional. So I'm thinking how much these things must cost to design and maintain, because these small essential things do need work to maintain, and someone has to do the work, and someone has to be completely reliable in doing the work, and it's not appreciated very much. And I imagine the men mostly who do this work must feel a bit miffed that they're not appreciated properly. So it never occurred to me how central heating engineers are essential people. It is strange to realize this. And I suppose the electricity supplier and gas supplier are completely essential services, and they must be very expensive. And it's never occurred to me before just how important these people are in our lives. So it's interesting how vital services in our lives are maintained by these guys, and they're not appreciated very much, because they're so important in our lives, they are not recognised. I think that's a shame. I suppose you only realise how important they are when they fail in some way. And they so hardly ever fail. It is quite impressive, really.